Live?
Live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a live edition of the Dawgs podcast. Thank you guys for being here. The people who have been anxiously waiting in the comment section, we appreciate your guys' enthusiasm. It's a special day here. We just all survived tornadoes. If you live anywhere and if you live local, Northeast Ohio, it's been kind of a crazy day. Tornado sirens going off all day. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to make it over here because my wife is petrified of tornadoes. So I was like, it was a little touch and go for a minute. While we let the lobby fill up, I want to remind you guys, if you want to get your voicemails on the show, head to thedawgspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail on the drop-down menu. We need intros, we need voicemails. That kind of stuff really helps spruce up the show. Today we're going to talk about the game last night. A lot of good stuff, some not so good stuff, a couple injuries. So we're going to jump into all of it. Make sure the comment section is going off. We really want your guys' thoughts. We'll talk about anything we see in the comment section that's interesting. So make sure you guys keep that comment section flowing. Before we dive into it, though, remember you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Obviously, if you're watching right now on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Make sure you have that notification bell tapped so you never miss a new episode. You can also find us on Apple, Spotify, and Google if you prefer to just listen to the show and you're commuting to work or something like that. Lastly, if you're looking for more Dawgs content, head to jointhedawgs.com, become an official Dog Pack member on the Patreon page. Fantasy leagues are filling up quickly. I think we got a few spots left. I said we were going to cut it off at 40, and I know we had at least one or two more people join.
Yep. I mean, we'll cut it off at 40, and if there's like a huge push of enough people to do 4 12-man leagues or even 5-10, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But do not wait. If you guys want to play fantasy, do not wait.
Yeah, here's the thing. Is the cutoff is 40, and if by a miracle, like if you're the 45th, that we're not going to be able to do another league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, don't wait for that. If you want to get in, make sure you get in now. Be one of those 40 for a guaranteed spot. You also get access to the private Discord, which is awesome on game day. The 2 preseason games have been awesome. Pretty much every day is awesome in the Discord. You get an extra episode every week. Again, you get to play fantasy football with all of us. So if you're interested in that, you want more content, you like hanging out with the Dogs, you like hanging out with Browns fans from all over the world, jointhedawgs.com to become an official Dog Pack member. So I think we got a couple voicemails, at least one we want to get into real quick to kick this thing off.
Yeah, this is from one of our Dog Pack members, Andrew Jackson.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Andrew Jackson here. Hey, we're in the middle of Hall of Fame weekend, but let's give our guys a little shout out, give them their flowers. These guys just got 7,000K as subscribers on YouTube, an ever-growing Patreon and Discord. These guys are at the Hall of Fame game, the enshrinement dinner, and the enshrinement as media. Hey, man, our boys are growing. Like, let's go. These guys are not settling for anything less than amazing stuff right now. So let's support our guys. Let's get this going for the season. We got one game underneath our belt. Let's get the other ones. Let's go, guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys did a recap on the last episode about our Hall of Fame weekend, which if you haven't, go back and watch that episode. Check it out. It was an awesome weekend.
It's crazy.
It was really awesome. And just huge shout out to Andrew Jackson for the kind words. Got me choked up over here.
Yeah. First time I ever got flowers. Oh, man. I appreciate that.
Andrew's one of the longest standing Dog Pack members. He's been in there for 3 years now.
Probably close to. Yeah, however long we've had it.
Yeah, yep. We haven't had it. We didn't have it when we first started. We're going into our 4th season. And pretty much as soon as we started it up, he joined and has been an active member ever since. So we appreciate you giving us our flowers. It was an awesome weekend. Mm-hmm. Like Josh said, go back and watch that episode. We got to do a lot of cool stuff. And it's basically because people like you guys listen to the show.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate all that. So I want to just kind of dive into last night's game. First of all, I see a very funny comment here by Rafter Irving. He says, somebody saved me a spot in a tiny house somewhere because I'm Kool-Aid drunk after last night. I'm putting my house on the Browns to win the division and make it to the AFC Championship game. I love the confidence. I love the belief. What I saw out of the first team offense and the first team defense last night, and it was a first team defense with no Shelby Harris, no Myles Garrett.
Right.
It was an offense with no Joel Bitonio, no Nick Chubb, no Amari Cooper, and we still looked damn good.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Like that first drive by the offense and the 2 first drives by the defense were freaking awesome.
I think if anything, that's got to be like the biggest takeaway from the game.
It is.
I thought the defense was incredible. Like nose to the ball, flying around. Not a ton of missed tackles. I saw a few early on.
Thornhill had one early,
but that completely made up for it.
Yeah, I think the second one Thornhill had, some people were giving him flack for. It was 3rd and 30. I think he was the first guy to the ball. To me, it looked like he was going for a take, like trying to strip it. He knew this guy's not about to break this for another 25. You know what I mean? Like I got some wiggle room here. It was awesome to see how the defense. How awesome is it to see Tomlinson and Zadarius Smith, 2 of your offseason acquisitions, force a safety? Miles isn't even in the game.
Yep.
And we're still getting that kind of pressure up front. And Washington, I don't think they're not Super Bowl contenders, but they're not scrubs either.
I agree.
They're a solid football team. You know, maybe 500. I mean, they could win the division depending on what Dallas does, I guess, or New York. I guess it's a tough division. Maybe they won't win it.
It all depends on coach and stuff. Honestly, their biggest thing is if they had like a solid quarterback, they would be a team to,
because they got weapons.
Yeah,
and their defense is sweet.
Exactly.
So I thought it was a good test for the Browns last night, and I thought the starters looked awesome. Deshaun Watson looked calm, cool, collected. He seemed to be making reads way faster, making quick decisions. He ran for 20 yards, 100% completion percentage. The 4 yards per attempt isn't exactly earth-shattering or anything like that. 12 yards passing, but we didn't call any shots. He put the ball to the guys who were open, on time, on target. So
you don't see a whole lot of downfield passing right out the gate most of the time anyway from a team. First drives are pretty scripted, and you want to, methodically march your way down the field. And, I mean, Kevin Stefanski's not going to show a whole lot in the preseason.
If anything,
like I was talking to somebody today, and they said something about the play calling. I said, this is going to be the preseason football across the board is the most vanilla NFL football you will ever see because nobody wants to show a whole lot of anything.
I thought even Watson was just super aggressive, almost to the point like the whole game plan, like for him when he was making runs, I'm like, "Ooh, get down, man!"
Yeah,
hey, we're in preseason, brother. Like I did like it. It made me nervous a couple times because he was very aggressive, especially when taking off of the ball. But I don't know how you don't, as a Browns fan, go away from that game last night going, "Hey, first string looks very, very solid. Looks very nice."
So why don't we do this then? Let's just go around and say like what your biggest takeaway was real quick. So John, what was your biggest takeaway from last night?
Well, we're kind of all on the same page. First string is, really good. So I'll just say right now there's a few things I'm worried about, so I'll talk about that. Our second string is not that good. So I think Blake, you said we're a couple injuries away from some of those guys being starters. So that's a little disconcerting, but for me, what's going on with Cade York? Like, make a field goal.
It's very, very unsettling.
And we can come back to that.
Yeah, I didn't want to get into the negative yet, John. Jesus H.
Yeah, we can get back to that. Let's bottle that. Let's bottle that for a second.
Yeah, because there's some stuff that we got to talk about with that too.
Absolutely.
Obviously. Anything else, John? Anything positive? You freaking Debbie Downer.
Yeah, I have a new best friend from the game. Justin's 4-year-old daughter is.
She's pretty cool.
She's
I've met her a
very
couple
cool.
times.
She's super cool.
You took a crazy game to take her to her first game.
Yeah, no kidding.
We realized like pretty early on that like maybe some mistakes were made taking her up, but she was super excited. She was a good sport about it. She had a great time. She might have been the most hype fan in Section 512 last night.
Barks a lot.
She was barking for a solid. I mean, hell, the game didn't even start till almost 9 o'clock. I mean, we're a half hour past bedtime. You know what I mean? That's the way I looked at it last night. I was like, oh man, how long can we keep this going for? But that was a great time. Great time.
What about you, Josh? Did you even get to see anything yet?
So I want to make sure everybody understands this right now. Sunday NFL Ticket on YouTube is garbage. They don't offer preseason games, and I'm out of market technically, so I was not able to get the Browns game last night. I'm going through, I'm searching Sunday Ticket. I'm like, where is it? So I even got on Google last night and started, giving somebody my thoughts, and they were like, sorry, you just don't get preseason games. I'm like, this is garbage. Like, I actually had an article I had to write this morning from the game. I'm like, I can't do that. But
you got to get that Dofu Sports app, man.
I guess so. It was garbage. But I will say and I'm just going through like PFF, I'm looking at the deep stats and the breakdowns and stuff, it seems like, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, DeJuan Jones and Luke Whippler looked good again. It looks like they had pressure opportunities, and between them, what is this, 58 pressure opportunities? Only one pressure allowed.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
DeJuan Jones was definitely good again. What about you, Justin?
I'm going to bring up something that may be a little controversial, but this Austin Watkins kid, he might end up stealing a spot from somebody that we really, really like on this roster, because he is – I don't know if he goes to the practice squad that he will remain on the – I think somebody comes and gets him. This kid – last night made so many catches and almost kind of like the go-to guy when there needed to be a nice catch. He was the go-to. So this kid's playing incredible. He might steal a roster spot.
I want to see him like play against another team's like second unit.
Okay.
Because he's probably not going to see ones. You know what I mean? Because if there's the other team's ones are playing, our ones are probably playing. But I'd like to see him against another team's twos and maybe a smattering of ones to see how he does. Because he's been Mr. Dependable.
Yeah,
he's been flashing all over the field.
Are you guys on the 6 or 7 wide receiver train?
I guess if you go, I mean, I like to think there's a chance of 7, but then it's like, where do you sacrifice somewhere else?
Yep.
I'd have to look in. I think 7's a real possibility if there's people you just really don't want to get rid of. And I think there's some guys on this team that are making decisions for Andrew Berry and this coaching staff tougher than what we thought maybe it would be going into this season.
Absolutely.
Which we'll touch on that.
Yeah.
My biggest takeaway last night, at least in a positive way, is Elijah Moore is going to be our Deebo Samuel if he stays healthy. They're gonna put him everywhere, and as long as his body can stand up to the beating he might take, I think they're going to do anything to get this guy the ball in space. They got him in the backfield running sweeps. They're throwing him the ball. He's like a Swiss Army knife. He's going to be all over the field. I think that is something that was very encouraging. We've never had a guy like that since Stefanski's been here, like a jack of all trades, just freak athlete, almost like a Percy Harvin type player.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? So that was like my biggest other than Watson looking like a professional quarterback. That was like offensively my biggest takeaway, at least a positive. Dion Owens in here says Schwartz, Bell, Wills, and York need to go. Their draft status is not going to make this roster. Schwartz needs to go. I agree.
Yep.
I thought David Bell played well last night.
I'm telling you guys, David Bell's a good player.
Wills isn't going anywhere, but again, I didn't think he played. Like there were times last night where when he was in, he struggled again. They got good edge rushers, obviously, in Washington, but
so do most teams.
Yeah, you're going to face good edge rushers. It's the NFL, and he gets beat. Like I was watching videos from training camp, and they were talking about this really nice play by Watson, and it would have been a sack. The only reason it wasn't a sack is because it was training camp. Mm-hmm. No, he's going against Miles. You know, so you would think going against Miles every day in practice would like make you better.
You would think so.
You know what I mean?
Or just demoralize you.
Yeah. But I don't know. The jury's still out on him, in my opinion. I think the biggest issue with him is sometimes you watch him play and he looks like the 10th pick in the draft, like the guy Joe Thomas was all excited about. And other times you watch him and it looks like he doesn't care.
Yeah.
To me, it's the inconsistency that it's just like, how can you can't rely on him because he's so inconsistent. Sometimes he plays awesome. Other times he plays like dog crap.
Yeah. The comment here from Fatal Gnome, Dog Pack member, he said, excited about Elijah. We talked about him. Watson Russ is definitely gone. He looks sharp. Holder sucks, and it's hurting our view on York. Check last year's Ravens game blocked field goal.
Yeah. And,
so who is that?
Our punter.
Our punter.
Yeah.
Punter.
So this
Our
is something
punter.
this is something we can talk about real quick because obviously people want to talk about Cade York.
Yeah.
I sent you guys this
It's very interesting.
this stat today. And I didn't get this isn't me. This is from Roberto Shenanigans on Twitter, who I'm no Roberto sympathizer, but it's a good thing to look into. Bajorquez, or however you say his name, is apparently there's something going on where he is not a good holder, or something he is doing is making his kickers struggle. So if you go back and you look at some of the people he's held for in his career, in 2021 he held for Mason Crosby. Mason Crosby made 73.5% of his field goals.
The year that Mason? Remember he missed like 5 in a game or something.
Yep. His career is 82%. It was the worst ever in 14 years when Bojorquez was his holder. Tyler Bass made 82.4% of his field goals with him as his holder. His career average without him is 87.3. It was his worst ever in 3 years in the league. Steven Hauschka made 78.6% of his field goals with him as his holder. He's a career 85.2% without him. That's his second worst in 13 years in the league. And Steven Hauschka, again, in the second year with him, 78.6. Oh, no, he's just got on here twice. That's just a Roberto thing. It was 2 different years where it was the same thing. It's the same thing where he had his career low percentage with him holding, and he's 10 points higher without him.
Now that is a trend.
And
that's a pattern.
And there's no, it's hard to explain that Cade York was universally known as, first of all, I'm pretty sure statistically he was the most accurate kicker in college football his senior year or whatever. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to check on that. And then we bring him into Cleveland, and all of a sudden he can't make a field goal.
Yeah.
It makes, he was considered universally like a surefire thing.
So going into last night, I wanted to see Cade York kick just for the fact that they were back in Cleveland Brown Stadium, kind of a chance to like prove that maybe some of the things that were bothering him last year or whatever was going on were gone, and missed field goal. The thing with the whole like holder, isn't there another guy on the team that can just do this? Like you would think that if a guy that has an X account or Twitter account sees these stats, that the Cleveland Browns analytics would probably know these numbers already. You would think so, right?
Yeah.
If they're out there, they probably know this. So don't you think that it would just be an easy fix just to have somebody else do it? I mean, there's got to be another guy on the roster that can do it.
Gotta be. I mean, it's if it is the holder issue.
Right.
And I mean,
exactly.
and we were at training camp last year, and I remember watching Cade York punch through 55-plus yards, 60, 65 from a hold from a tee.
Yeah.
Right? So, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's something. There's got to be something to this because those numbers are very revealing, and it's not just like a fluke.
No, yeah. So
it's everywhere.
Cade York is not the only kicker. Somebody said that is ultimately the reason why Green Bay let him go.
I saw that.
I mean, I remember when Mason Crosby, it was like they were going to get rid of him.
Yeah, and he was like one of the best kickers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's something going on there that definitely needs to be addressed.
Yep, and I think we need to make sure we're spreading that around Twitter and stuff to. Somebody's got to see that in those numbers.
Yeah. And I was texting these guys about it kind of jokingly. We got to Browns fans. We can't boo Cade York right now. There's something going on with the hold, maybe, but it seems like something's going on with the hold. And this is a young kid, guys.
Yeah, he's like 22.
He's a little bit in his head right now. We need to sometimes you can't. There's different, times where you like beat your kid, and another time where you like lift them up a little bit. That we need to lift this kid up a little bit because it's nothing. It's only going to get worse if we just mentally abuse him. I know it's tough for us Browns fans, but we gotta do our part to help raise this kid a little bit in a loving, nurturing environment. Because a lot of this, kicking. A lot of this seems mental right now too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So basically, let's lift up York and then we're going to beat down Bojorquez.
Yes. The biggest thing, he can punt whatever. You mean to tell me we the third string quarterback can't be the holder? Something like that.
You tell me there's not another punter out there that's a good holder? I mean, come on, it's punting.
My thing, though, he's a good punter.
He is a good punter.
He's a good punter. But that's where I'm at. I'm like, there has to be another guy on the roster.
Yeah.
We got Rick, thank you for the donation, by the way. You guys don't have to do that, but we appreciate it. He says he can't coach effort. Wills plays okay when he wants to, but he plays lazy way too often. At least that's what it looks like on tape.
Yeah, that's fair.
It does.
You know what I mean? At least that's what it looks like on tape. I would say the biggest thing that's a concern is that we have a Hall of Fame offensive line coach.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And like a guy like Teller came in as like a 4th or 5th round draft pick in Buffalo, and we didn't even know if he was going to be able to beat out Forbes or not Forbes, the dude we drafted who went to L.A.
Oh, Corbett. Austin
We didn't even know like if he's going to be able to beat out Corbett for that guard spot, and he turned into one of the best guards in the league under Bill Callahan.
Yeah.
Ethan Posick comes in last year as a backup, 3rd highest graded center in the league last year, 1 year under Callahan. But Wills is struggling to figure it out.
And we're seeing, like we mentioned at the top of the show, DeJuan Jones, Luke Whippler, these young guys, these rookies already showing flashes and promise on the field. It's an effort. It is truly an effort thing with Wills. It has to be, because all these other guys, like you said, they're doing so well under Callahan.
Preston Herring says, you know who else was a good punter? This kid I watched in high school last year do something.
It's fair, bro. I get it.
There's a guy who works at the hospital down the road, or at least he
Yeah.
used to, and he could definitely come punt for the Browns.
Yeah.
So
Yep. He can kick field goals too.
yeah. So maybe he's listening.
Maybe. Hey, Matt, we need you to come out of retirement, bud.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, before we dive into more comments, Browns fans in Ohio, I just want to do this real quick. We've got an unbeatable NFL preseason offer for you guys from Caesars Sportsbook. If you guys are new customers, you can get your first bet insured up to $1,250. Use our code DAWGSFULL when you sign up. And if you haven't joined Caesars Sportsbook community already, now's the perfect time to make your move. Just remember to enter our code DAWGSFULL when you sign up, place your first bet. And the offer is only available for new customers who are 21 and older and physically present in Ohio. Please gamble responsibly. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER and check the episode description for the full terms of the offer.
So I don't want to acknowledge this guy tonight.
Oh, I am right now. I'm messaging him right now, man. I'm doing
But
it.
Aaron Butler is trying to talk to us about how the Ravens are going to win their 24th preseason game in a row.
You shouldn't have acknowledged it.
Cool, bro.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd the playoffs go for you guys?
Yeah. What, man, that's embarrassing.
So this one's interesting. Fatal Gnome says, I'd rather have an okay punter, great holder, than a great punter and a bad holder. Those 3 points matter more. And we talked about that. What is the average margin of victory in the NFL? Was it 3.5 points?
We lost by
3.5
2 points last night.
Exactly. So if the average margin of victory is 3.5 points, you go out there, you miss either a field goal or an extra point, you've shifted the tide.
Yes.
Your odds of winning have now gone down drastically.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Kicking is, even though they keep trying to take it out of the game, it's still extremely important.
Yeah. And, this is something where, Bubba Ventrone coming in as the new special teams coordinator, you got to get this fixed. This has been a problem now, not only all of last year, but now you come in, you inherit this special teams unit. 2 games in a row now. Issue.
Yeah.
Same issues. Got to get it fixed before the season starts.
Yep. Somebody ridiculous up here said Cedric Tillman didn't have a great game. I agree. I thought he looked really good against the Jets. He didn't look as good last night. I also think the refs were letting him play a little bit. I know on one pass I thought he got held. They didn't call it, but he had the penalty and something else. So, you're going to expect things like that out of rookies. I do think overall, though, he just looks really big and fast, and that's going to come in handy at times.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to the first drive with the starters, what did you guys think of the play calling when we got down inside the 5?
Are you talking about the first possession?
The first possession.
Didn't we run it twice, and then we ran it the third time on 4th down, and it just got blown up in the back?
Yeah.
But, I mean, what are we expecting? We're not going to open up the playbook. I mean,
And Nick Chubb wasn't playing.
yeah,
Right? So
that's the thing. Like, I think
but-
that was even mentioned in Discord. Like, if that Nick Chubb's in there is
I said that.
Okay.
I want to say I think Felton has made this third running back situation very
Yes.
interesting. I thought he looked better than Kelly last night.
it's fair.
The second team offensive line struggled though, so it was hard to get anything going on the ground once they were in there. But I think Felton has made it very interesting. They said that he's no longer like going to wide receiver meetings and practicing he's just a running back now, and I think that has seemed to kind of really help him focus, probably giving him some confidence, like knowing this is my job now. Like, oh, I got to do this. He's got a little bit of stability, and I think it helps him. It's helped him out tremendously because he looks night and day compared to last year. I thought his run to get us to the one where he made the one cut and got upfield and almost scored was super nice. And then the very next run, I thought he danced too much, and I thought he should have Chubb would have scored on that.
Where he had that extra cut, where he cut out and basically
Chubb would have scored on that. But it's preseason for players. It's also preseason for the coaches. And you got Deshaun Watson. You're paying him $230 million guaranteed. And I know it's the preseason, but you don't give him one chance to make a play down there. Especially you don't have Nick Chubb.
Right.
You know it's Felton and John Kelly back there. So you don't say, hey, go get this touchdown for us. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And even though I think Stefanski's a great coach and at least a very good coach, solid coach right now, and I think he's very good offensively, like situationally is where he needs to improve. And I thought that was another case last night. Like, okay, come on, man. Let's give the guy that we're paying $200. Let's put it on him to go get us a touchdown real quick, especially on this great opening drive. So I didn't love the play calling. Again, I think Chubb would have scored on third down, but he didn't. Felton didn't. So I would have liked to see let him throw for that.
I agree. And on fourth down, I would have kicked a field goal. Yeah, I mean, this is our only preseason home game. So let's get York as much practice as we can.
Sure.
It's not the preseason's not about winning games as much as it is about ironing out issues.
And
we have issues.
I think even like when the season starts up, that'll be different situationally. Like that'll probably be a QB sneak, but we're not going to QB sneak Watson on a second preseason game that really doesn't matter absolutely at all. You know what I mean?
I know like a lot of Browns fans we've been really defensive of Stefanski.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of taking 3 points. And York struggled to the point last year where it wasn't a given that we were even going to make a field goal. But I'm a bigger fan of a field goal than going for it on fourth down, unless you're like on the half-yard line.
I was going to say, I don't mind going for it at last night. It's a preseason game. You want to see your offense go out and score points.
I get what you're saying, but my point was York's one of our biggest things we need to work on, and it's our only home game in the preseason.
The thing is, and we're talking, of course, I didn't get to see the freaking game. We're talking about the first drive, right? So if you guys, last year, how many times was it first drive of the game? We march down the field, we get close enough, it's fourth down, and manageable, and Stefanski always goes for it, it seems like. The first drive, the analytics must say you have a higher percentage on that first drive or early in the game going for it than later in the game. He always seems to opt to go for it on fourth down.
And we lost a lot of games by
I was
going to
say, and I didn't love the play calling the last 2 or 3 years on fourth down. It was always, hey, let's do a triple lateral.
I'm with you guys. The 3 points are definitely. We talked about the margin of error. So.
My problem, I don't necessarily mind going for it. My problem is the play calling when we do go for it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like we'll go for it's 4th and 3, and we go for it, and as soon as the play's F since Jump Street. Like as soon as he says hut and somebody's blowing him up instantly, like there's miscommunicate. You would think, in practice, like, hey, we might have a fourth down chance where we're going to go for it once or twice in a game, and we got these in our back pocket that are like
your best plays.
Yeah, they're these are a very high conversion rate.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are going to be tough to stop, and it seems like we don't have that. It's just like any other play. I'm not saying it's got to be a trick play, but it's your bread and butter, something.
Yep.
Because he's creative all over the field except for in that situation.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This Andrew Jackson says, what do you guys think of the national people talking this morning about how great the defense looked? Maybe we're starting to turn some heads a little bit because that one dude on NFL Network picked us to win 6 games.
Yeah. Right.
Even Aaron Butler thinks we're going to win 11.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Our defense it's legit this year. We have a legit coach on that side of the ball. That's what makes it. And all the moves Andrew Berry's made, and just bringing in Shelby Harris again last week, unreal. Or this past week.
If the Browns do what we think they can do this year, like the hiring of Schwartz is going to be looked at as the biggest offseason move.
Absolutely.
It already, in my opinion, it probably already is.
Yeah.
And it's the defense in the first 2 preseason games has been night and day.
Yeah.
Just in terms of communication. there isn't breakdowns all over the field. Like, we look way more aggressive. We're tackling better.
Right. And if these younger guys, these depth, second, third, fourth stringers that are playing the majority of the game, if they're able to execute this defense effectively and efficiently, imagine what our starters are going to be able to do. Like game after game, the better they get. It's just, I'm very encouraged by what I've seen from the defense.
Jacob Phillips on the IR, Bubba Bolton waived with an injury designation. So the Jacob Phillips things we'll touch on. It sucks he just can't stay healthy.
No. Nope.
And it's at the point, it's like, man, he's probably not going to be on the team. They'll keep him on the team now because you can go on the IR all year.
Right, because he's all year.
But it's just, the guy can't catch a break.
No, and we've talked about how a linebacker's not valued as far as a position, and, are we really going to bring in anybody else? Well, now we're going to have to.
Yeah. He was a guy when he was drafted, too, I was super excited about it. He was a third-round guy. I remember all they said was speed, man. This is a guy sideline to sideline. He's going to be excellent. And he just cannot stay on. I think he's only played 20 games in 4 years now.
That's crazy.
So, for me, you're right. He'll go on the IR, but I don't, at this point, I think this was his opportunity to show what he had and what potential he had. Also, in the comments, Andrew Kaiser.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up.
Does anybody want to do that real quick? Because he
Shout it out. You do it. Go for it.
Yeah, so it's his son's birthday. Jet, happy birthday, brother.
Happy
From one
birthday,
dog to
dog.
another.
We're going to sing to him?
I cannot sing. Bro.
No, I can't either.
I'm
Happy birthday,
not a singer.
bud.
Yeah, happy birthday, brother.
appreciate
Where does it say it's his son's birthday?
It says it's my son Jet's birthday tomorrow.
You go
Can y'all wish
scroll
him a
up
happy
maybe a little
birthday?
bit.
I just got celebrate the first super chat from Andrew Kaiser.
It's right after.
It's a little ways down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
Come on, Blake. Wish him a happy birthday. This is a real thing, man.
happy birthday.
I got
Blake's living by faith right now. He has no clue.
I know it's not his birthday. I don't know. This doesn't
I
sound
used to have
right.
art class with Andrew Kaiser. We used to get in a lot of trouble.
Awesome dude. Awesome dude.
Thank you, Fatal Gnome, for the donation. This says, ridiculous, says, anyone else notice Watson standing next to Stefanski during the game on the sidelines? Didn't really see that with past QBs. He seems super engaged. Watson does. I saw him last night asking for a headset, an earpiece, so he could hear the play calling. No, he's all in. Like, and you could tell last night in the game, like it's night and day.
Well, you saw it in the Hall of Fame game. They showed him, on the sideline there, and he had the earpiece in, and he was, he's locked into the game. And going back to the defense, I did an episode a couple months ago, probably just detailing how close the Browns actually were to having a much different record last year, a winning record by far. And it was a lot of these defensive breakdowns that led to these losses. The offense wasn't the issue. A lot of times the offense was putting us back in position at the end of games to make a push to win, and then we'd go out and do what? Miss a field goal, get a penalty, get pushed back, whatever, give up a sack.
Be out of bounds on an onside kick.
Yeah, so you think about if our defense is improved even a little bit, and we're adding the real Deshaun Watson, good Lord. Good Lord.
No, the division this year I think is going to be crazy competitive and tough.
Yes.
If we were in like an easier division, I think we'd run away with it.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
But I think it's going to be. I think first place and last place is going to be like a game or two. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like even the Steelers, people are crapping all over the Steelers, and I don't see them as that bad.
No. Kenny Pickett looking pretty good last night.
Kenny Pickett's the biggest question mark. If he can play football at all, they're going to be freaking good.
They're going to be tough.
You know what I mean?
They were decent with Duck Hodges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tomlin's just a good coach.
Honestly, the team I'm the least worried about, and this is going to sound dumb, is the Bengals.
Okay.
And the only reason I'm not worried about it
defense?
is because for some reason we're 8-2 against them.
That's true. Yeah.
But the problem is nobody else in our division can beat them.
That's true too.
They are 8-2 against the Steelers and the Ravens in their last 10 games, I'm pretty sure, and they're 2-8 against us. Explain that.
I can't. I know. I can like come up with excuses for like a game or two here, like Joe Burrow was on IR, the Bengals really were bad that year. I went to a game like not that long ago where they beat us and they were 2-14. This was like a long time ago. This is 3 years ago in Cincinnati. It's still Baker days, but
that game doesn't count.
Yeah,
bro.
that was the last game of the season, right?
We're getting rid of Freddie.
Yeah, that was exactly what that game was too. I watched Odell just injured, just running up and down the sidelines for 4 hours. I'm like, Doesn't look very injured to me, but whatever, you know.
It was no, I can't explain it. So Bengals fans, I just said Bengals. I didn't mean to say that. Bengals fans, like, don't take it as a slight. Clearly, you guys are, I would say, more than likely going to win a lot of games this year. But for some reason, you just can't seem to beat us. So when I go into a Bengals game, I'm extremely confident. I'm way more confident against them than I am against the Ravens or the Steelers.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so the division is just going to be crazy tough. I think we're all going to beat up on each other. Potentially could have 2 playoff teams from our division, depending on how things shake out.
Yeah.
So, what else do we got here? Okay, so here we go. Jim Kogard, I'm guessing hopefully I'm saying it right. It says DTR is forcing Stefanski's hand. He looks so much better than Dawgs or Mond. I actually put this out on Twitter last night. I said he's going to mess around and end up being QB2.
I think you're right.
I think you're right.
I think he's well on it. So I was looking at his numbers, and plus, here's the thing: every time this kid touches the ball, it's electric. It's very. I know he's going against second, third, fourth string defenses
In vanilla base packages. We got to keep it in mind. But
he is literally. I want to say he's like 18 for 21 or something like that for 200 yards and a touchdown. The guy.
And we're one preseason game away from all the casuals saying he should be our starter.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I already heard it.
If we don't have Watson, man, like this would be the talk going in. This is the guy of the future. Let's throw him completely to the wolves.
I saw it on
week
Twitter
1
last night. People saying
bench Watson for him.
People saying, "Are we sure that our best quarterback didn't play in the second half?" And it's like, guys,
oh god, this is the Dobbs thing all over again.
Yeah.
Oh man.
he just looks. It doesn't look like it's too much for him.
Now there are other teams though with bad quarterback situations that would probably love to have DTR right now. The way he's showing out.
Yeah.
He played a lot of football in college.
Yeah, he did.
You know what I mean?
5
Like
years.
a lot of these top guys are coming out after they're playing 13 games in college.
Sure.
You know what I mean? DTR played a lot of games, and he had a guy who coached in the pros.
Yeah.
So I mean, it doesn't seem like the lights are too bright.
No.
He's a quick decision maker. He's explosive. He's way more accurate than I thought he would be. Because obviously in Ohio we don't get to watch a lot of UCLA games.
Right.
You know. But yeah, he just seems to be very relaxed. I completely agree.
And he seems like you mentioned it. Like he just knows what to do.
And
Like
for
he
2
understands
games,
the plays. He understands what the defenses are doing. He understands where his guys are going to be. Like he just gets it done. It's
I'd start him
cool.
against the Eagles.
I saw Stefanski said he doesn't think any of the starters are going to play. So
Yeah.
I think this could be.
because they're playing against the Eagles all week, basically.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Yeah.
He's like, we're going to see enough opportunities with the joint practices where we don't need game film on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would start him against the Eagles.
Yeah.
Let him. Let's see how he holds up against some second stringers. You know what I mean?
agree.
Because so far, a lot of the guys he's playing against might not even make the team. You know, let's start. Let's give him a little bit more. See if he can handle it. Because you got to be sure if you make him QB2, because that means he's one, knock on wood, injury away from Watson from being the guy who's leading your football team, and is he ready for that? So, I mean, between Dobbs, Mond, and him, he looks head and shoulders better than the other ones. Head and shoulders.
I agree with that.
It's just, do you want your backup quarterback to be a rookie, like a full-fledged fifth-round rookie?
Did you guys see Deion Owens' comment? 'Cause I think that's very interesting too.
What's
I
that?
think that's becoming a very, very interesting situation.
Which one?
He said Ronnie Hickman or DeAnthony Bell.
just
Hickman had a
reading.
great
Oh, man.
game, but Bell's versatility will keep him on the roster. Thoughts?
So here's this one's close to our hearts, obviously,
Yes.
because we're big DeAnthony Bell fans. He's been on the show twice. Super humble, nice kid. And Ronnie Hickman's an Ohio State player, who we are also all huge fans of. Ronnie Hickman played well last night, and he had the 2 picks. And the first thing I thought was, oh, he's going to make DeAnthony Bell work for this. But DeAnthony Bell, I thought, was all over the field last night too, making tackles. He had a couple nice hits. He can play all the special teams. It's gonna be a battle. This is one of those things where you add a bunch of talent to a team and you got a ton of depth. It's a fight for your job every day.
So you guys don't think they can both make the roster?
Safety.
Yeah.
So we got Thornhill,
Yep. Delpit,
Delpit, and McLeod.
McLeod.
DeAnthony Bell, and Hickman, and then they just got rid of Bolden, right?
Right.
You're
So
not
they waived
keeping
him.
5 safeties if you're keeping
No.
7 wide receivers.
You're probably only
You're
keeping 3, right?
Yeah, because you got to.
The way they use safeties, you think they only keep 3? I don't know about that.
I don't know, man. I mean, so
I feel like safety is a very high valued spot on that roster too. That the backfield, the defensive backfield.
Yeah, but you can make corners go play safety. You can't make safeties go play corner.
That's true.
So I don't know. It'll be tough. It says he's my cousin from another mother. Who did I miss something?
I don't know if me or not, brother. But I'll be your cousin from another mother if you want me to be, dog.
No. Josh, did you have something you wanted to do after 6 o'clock?
Oh,
Hey, I just want to tell you.
I didn't realize it was already 6:11.
I know time is flying. The chat has been awesome. You guys are great. I'm just so thrilled. Like it's so awesome to have such a great audience, great Browns fans. And I'll make this quick. Just remind you guys about Omaha Steaks. If you go to omahasteaks.com, use code DAWGS, DAWGS in the search bar. They're doing their anniversary celebration right now, so it's 50% off site-wide. And when you use that code in the search bar, you actually get 8 free steak burgers and 8 free jumbo franks with your order. So, that's like those steak burgers are awesome. The jumbo franks are huge. I've had them all. They're great, and they're really pushing their anniversary package. It's got the butcher's cut filet mignons, the boneless chicken breast, the bacon wrapped pork chops. It also has jumbo franks, so you're getting like 12 of those, and the Omaha steak seasoning. So go check it out. Anniversary sale, omahasteaks.com, 50% off site-wide. Search DAWGS in the search bar.
No, it looks like some bots in our chat now.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So what else did I want to get into? What else was there from last night? Help me out. I'm forgetting some of the stuff I was going to talk about. That ad was terrible timing. I'm just checking.
jeez.
So we'll say Ara says, which is Pastor Rob, by the way. He says that we're going to keep 4. So that means D'Anthony Bell is probably fighting. Him and Hickman are battling out for that 4th spot. Who do we want to make the team?
Well, so far, Hickman hasn't answered my message on Twitter or Instagram. So,
Josh.
Come on, D'Anthony.
Wow.
Pull for you, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I have faith in D'Anthony Bell. I've always I always have liked his energy and just kind of just how he approaches everything. So I'm rooting for you, man. But it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a battle.
Here we go. Reticulous said we need a dome. A couple of guys were up at the game last night.
Oh yeah.
How freaking bad do we need a dome?
Well, this is just a normal thing for me anymore. Like I go up to Cleveland on
You're
a Sunday
always
or a
caught in it.
Friday or a Thursday, and then I get evacuated down to the bottom. Except this time, we just said we're not going anywhere. we just stayed. So we moved up about 30 rows, and then they stayed there.
And then the wind came the other way and started blowing the rain through the back of the stadium and our backs.
It's fine. Yeah, it was cool.
Pastor Rob says no dome. I gotta hear why you don't want a dome. I want a dome. I need it. I need it like I need oxygen.
I'm not gonna lie.
I don't need it quite that badly, but I'm with you still.
Yeah. I've always been an advocate of me and Blake have argued about this before. I don't know if I'm just in that old school mentality thing, AFC North. It's got to be gritty, but he makes good points where he's we're also dealing with the same bullshit weather, So I'd rather sit in a climate controlled dome as a fan.
We have, I think, either the worst or second worst winning percentage in the last 50 years or something.
Right.
So it does nothing for you. If weather and tough and whatever gave you some kind of advantage, we wouldn't have been the most dog shit team in the NFL for the last 30 years.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I hopefully the FCC doesn't find me. You know what I mean? It's just
Who's watched a football game in a dome, by the way?
I have.
We were at the Big Ten Championship, Lucas Oil Stadium.
It's awesome.
Nice stadium and very cold outside that day. And not very cold in the stadium.
Correct.
It was very nice inside the dome.
Isn't Lucas Oil the stadium where somebody was trying to catch a touchdown and the sun got in their eyes through the roof? Do you remember that?
I do
Yeah, I
remember
do.
that. But no,
I think it's happened. I've seen it happen to people on like punts and stuff too. Yeah.
Down Dallas. Dallas is. I remember
Yeah,
their stadium
Dallas
was really weird. Like with the sun coming in.
I mean, you look at any new stadium that's getting built, a dome, for the most part.
Dion Owens says the Saints outplayed us last season in the elements. Exactly.
Yep.
And they're a dome team.
And they're a dome team.
Yeah.
It does nothing for us. Plus, I want to be able to go to First Energy all year.
Yes. That's what a lot of people don't understand. They're like, well, why would you, put all that money into a dome for 8 home games? It's no. It's because it's a year-round event venue. I mean, you can do so much with that.
You'd
that
be able to go
building.
see Taylor Swift up there.
Absolutely, you could.
What is it called? The Eras Tour?
What's it called? Bro, come on.
I don't know what it's called, bro.
Oh, my wife is I know like all the theories. I know her cat's names.
Oh, man.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I know everything.
She seems like she's probably
We'll have a little T Swift Q&A later.
Okay. I'm going to not do well there.
Pastor Rob wants to know about the holder situation. We talked about that early. You just must have missed it.
It's bad. That's what we think.
We need to do something.
Yeah.
Either look at the backup quarterback. Plus, have the backup quarterback do it. It's more dangerous in turn. Like they got to be more prepared for a fake. Like if
Right.
DTR can hold, put him back there to hold, and all of a sudden you got a holder who can throw and run. You know what I mean? Like make them prepare for something extra. Just there's clearly a correlation between him holding and kickers sucking.
Right, because it's not just like it was one other kicker. What was it, 4 or 5?
It was
Three.
three other
Three others?
kickers
Plus Cade.
for 4 years.
Okay.
Plus Cade York.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. There's something to it.
And when we, it's okay, man. He said, sorry. You don't have to apologize.
You don't have to apologize. You're gonna, no.
And like I said, it's not like Cade York, we drafted him. People are like, what are you doing? This guy's such a question mark. It was like
We were excited.
they needed a kicker. This was a huge area of need, and they had the luxury of drafting him. This is about as surefire as it gets when you're going to draft a kicker.
Yep. Shoot
And
your
then
shot. Yep.
he
And that's
can't-
what everyone was saying after game 1. That's why you draft a kicker. Aren't those the same people now saying,
Why'd
well,
we
you don't draft
Cade
a
York?
kicker,
Yeah,
you
right.
idiots?
How quickly does the weather from Lake Erie Road / damage the stadium? Nah, man. I mean, if it would damage the stadium, like there's been a stadium there for a while.
Rain?
I don't know. I don't understand this question. Maybe clarify. I think it'd be fine because there's lots of buildings in Cleveland right by the lake.
Yeah, the Key Bank building's still standing.
Yeah. So, says, come on, don't blame the holder. He is slicing them. Yeah, but he might be slicing them because of the way the hold is going to be incredibly important. And like I said, I'm not saying he's blameless. But Mason Crosby's a historically great kicker. Steven Hauschka is a very good kicker. Yeah. I forget who the other guy was. Cade York was the best kicker in college football.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not like he's been holding for crap kickers. He's been holding for guys who are all pro kickers.
Yeah. And he's even admitted that like he's got things going on that he overanalyzes the mechanics and like before he kicks, there's just a lot of things going on. And that's what going into this year was we're going to simplify everything for this kid. And then we're 0 for 2 now. He's making extra points, but.
I wanted to kind of move a little bit more on. I got some defensive questions for you guys since I didn't get to actually physically watch it.
Okay.
Maurice Hurst. I heard he looked good.
He did.
Looked good?
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
What about Mohamed Diabate?
Also, there was a couple plays where he flashed.
There's a couple of these UDFAs that Andrew Berry signed at the linebacker position that I'm thinking could have an opportunity with the Jacob Phillips injury.
For sure now, yeah.
Well, so when we drafted a lot of these linebackers too, like Phillips and JOK, the thought was stopping Lamar.
Yes.
Okay. But I feel like we need to change the body type of linebacker we need now because with this wide 9 defense that Jim Schwartz implements, it's all about contain and keeping everything inside the tackles in the box, forcing it up the middle into the teeth of the defense. So if you got a bunch of 190-pound linebackers, that's probably not good. I feel like we need a little bit of beef there in the middle at the linebacker position because they're going to be expected to make a lot of tackles. And if they can't shed blocks from the big lineman, that could be an issue. I know that the better defensive line play is definitely going to help the linebackers, but I just don't think you can be an undersized linebacker in the middle there in this wide 9 and be successful. We don't need as much side. It's if the defensive ends are playing well, there isn't going to be sideline to sideline.
Right.
Go ahead, buddy.
I was just going to ask about Tommy Togiai and Jordan Elliott because they were two guys last year. Obviously, we talked about how they were some of the like absolute worst defensive tackle graded players in the league, and we've done nothing but add defensive tackles to this roster. Are those guys staying or are they gone?
So Tommy had a sack last night.
Okay.
And then, but my thing is, I think right now he's probably on the outside looking in. As far as, I think he makes probably the practice squad, but I'm not sure that there's a roster spot for him.
So you're obviously Tomlinson,
Shelby
Harris,
Hurst,
Ika.
There's 4. How many are you keeping?
Elliott's a draft pick, so he's probably.
So is Togiai.
Yeah. I mean, but if you're keeping one of those guys.
It'll be close.
Did Tristan Hill play? I didn't look.
I forget.
Yeah.
If he did, he didn't do anything that made me.
He didn't stand out.
Pass Rob says Elliott and Togiai are gone. I would say there's a very good chance both of them are gone. Who else? Obo, whatever's.
Obo Okoronkwo.
He played well.
He flashed.
He played well.
He looked very good.
Darius Smith was awesome.
Yep. JOK. I thought JOK looked nice.
Yes.
JOK was flying around.
I agree.
I'm very okay with just letting him just.
You're okay with JOK?
Just rip. Yeah, absolutely. Put that on a T-shirt.
So there's definitely some people that flashed. We already talked about DeJuan Jones. What do you think? Who we already touched on a little bit. Who do you think has the leg up in that third running back?
Okay, so
that's a really
something
good
I wanted
question.
to talk about earlier when we were talking about Felton, because I know I've kind of been leading the charge on the show. It feels like this offseason talking about Felton's gone, Felton's not doing anything, they're not using him. And then when you were talking about how they said he's no longer going to the wide receiver meetings and things like that, it made me kind of rethink my process on this. Last year we had Chubb, Hunt, Dearness Johnson, then it was Felton, and even John Kelly was mixed in there when we needed him. And it's like, okay, Felton was really lost in that mix, so maybe he was being used more as a wide receiver in the preparations and then just never getting an opportunity to get on the field. But I got to give him some props. He has looked very good in the preseason so far.
He took that forward injury as an opportunity, and he's running with it. And he's flashing. He looks great. I said it with the Jets game. I thought he was like one of the players that absolutely popped off for me, like every time he touched the ball.
He looks fast. He looks elusive. He's playing. He's not, and it's not all dancing. He's running tough. I would say if it's tight, they're going to go with Felton. He's drafted. I mean, it might not be. You know what I mean? Like if it's a close race, they're going to go with the guy that was drafted. Mm-hmm. And John Kelly will probably go back to the practice squad. Which, luckily, the running back market sucks so bad that I don't think anybody will steal him.
Yeah,
he'll be there. There's a chance one of these guys is going to be running back 2 to start the season.
True, yeah. We don't know how bad. Do we know how bad that hamstring injury is yet? They said he'd be ready probably by week 1, but that doesn't give me a lot of confidence.
I heard like week 1's in question. Like
okay.
he could be ready. And it's one of those deals where a hamstring, you don't want to rush back from it.
Right.
No, because those things can
wreck
all
a season.
Yeah,
you gotta be overly cautious with them, or you're going to be dealing with it all season. So there's a chance Kelly will start the year as RB3 on the roster, and then when Ford comes back, he'll get bumped to the practice squad. So we'll see. But I think Felton has made that race very tight. I think at the beginning of the season, we just all kind of thought it was going to be John Kelly or they were going to sign somebody.
Yeah, it's just such a bummer that Ford got injured like that, because I really do feel like he was going to have a significant role in this offense, and we were excited to see what he could do because, I mean, he was awesome in college, flashed last year.
I still think he probably will, man. I don't think it really like.
Yeah, as long as the injury doesn't.
You know what I mean? If he takes his time, comes back healthy, I don't think Felton's necessarily like challenging.
No, I think his role is secure. It's just if that injury
lingers
hampers him all season, then it's like, dang, now we got to wait another year to see what he can do.
We don't even know the full potential.
Right.
I get it. Yep.
Ooh, anything else you guys want to touch on? I know, like, I don't want to just end it. We got a lot of people watching. Talk to us, guys? What do we need to get into? I feel like we've covered this game pretty decent. Are we missing anything? We got a little bit more time.
The Ian Swifty
Oh,
voicemail.
Yeah. I forgot.
We do have another
email.
voicemail that we need to play here real
email.
quick.
Hey guys, this is Ian Trippy here reporting from training camp. Well, the day after, actually. I'm from New York City, and I'd like to report that training camp is going really well. I got to see Myles Garrett up close, and got to see Amari Cooper catch some sick touchdowns. It was a great day. Also, on report that we just signed defensive tackle Shelby Harris, and I hear that the first stringers are going to start Friday against Washington. Should be the Redskins. That's Commando. Anyways, guys, have a great day. Woo!
So for you guys who don't know, we've got a dynasty league with the Dog Pack community on Patreon, and Ian Swifty, that's Brad Moneymaker. He's
what
in the
a
league, and
legend.
he's kind of taken it upon himself to be our league-wide reporter. He reports on all the trades that get made. He reports on all this stuff. So that I heard that voicemail, and it just cracked me up.
Oh man, that was very epic.
Yeah.
Pastor Rob just said Brad is nuts.
I got nervous he was gonna, say I was being quiet or something. I didn't know I was gonna defend myself on this one.
Let's see here.
Oh, that's one thing we could talk about. Are we signing anyone to replace Jacob Phillips? Because, Darius Jones just kind of reminded me about that. I wanted to bring that up.
Well, like I said, we've got these UDFAs, these younger guys that are, they're not, I don't want to rule them out, because I think that the guys that Andrew Berry is just like, I don't know, he's got a knack for this. Yeah. He's really got a knack for finding talent kind of hidden in the draft.
And who knows, I think obviously our starters are probably, you would think JOK, Taki, and Walker, right? If they're going to do 3 linebackers. So the rest of the guys are just going to be, I would consider Jacob Phillips would have been a rotational piece at some point in the season.
Right.
And, just getting guys a breather. Can't Tony Fields handle that?
That's true.
I still think there's enough depth where we shouldn't panic about a guy that we haven't had for 3 or 4 years now.
I'm not panicking.
You know what I mean, though.
To be honest,
you shouldn't have to rush out and
I
get a
forgot
guy.
about Tony Fields. Thank you for bringing
No
up
problem.
his name. Did
No
he
problem.
look okay last night again?
I don't even know if he played, man. I don't remember it.
It says he played 30 snaps.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't remember.
We spent 30 snaps walking from Section 512 to the car. So.
Yeah.
He wasn't a lock to make the team anyways. So I don't think
I
don't think you have to
Who's
make
that?
it
Phillips.
So I don't think you have to sign somebody to replace the guy. You don't even know if you were going to keep on the team anyways.
That's a good point.
Pastor Rob says Fields looks good last night. Dion says, are we carrying 3 or 4 tight ends? Miller, Forrest all look nice.
I know, but
I was talking to a guy last night, one
He
of my
did-
buddies. He said he thinks Harrison Bryant might be.
the thing is,
Fringy.
I think if we're going to go more of this vertical offense, more wide receiver
Harrison
heavy,
Bryant could
I think
be
that it's going to be a
explosive.
3 tight end on the roster, not 4. I
And
think
Njoku, Atkins, and Bryant are
locks.
locks.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
yeah.
I would think so.
This Phillips was 3/4 the way out the door. Yeah, this actually just kept him on an NFL roster a year longer,
Yeah,
more
sure.
guaranteed. You know what I mean? So, can we talk about that? Juan Thornhill looked lackluster, missing tackles. He only missed 1?
I think it was 2.
Was it 2? I'll pull it up.
I thought it was 2, but
The one I swear he's going for a strip. It was 3rd and 30, and he was the first one to the ball. But
Yeah, it says he missed 2.
so I mean, it's the one was frustrating. The one it
Yeah.
was on the 3rd down, he came up and hit the guy, and he just fell off of him, and he ran for a first. Preston says, I think Harrison Bryant might be going through something because he's been out with a non-football related injury. I think. Ugh, I didn't even know that. Man.
I was going to say one thing that, looking at the in-depth PFF stats, I always like doing this because they just track a lot of things that you don't even think about, but they've got the one stat that's defensive stops, so it's anything that they consider a failure for the offense. Tony Fields led the team. He had 3 of those plays, and Cameron Mitchell, the 6th round, was he 6th round, right?
He
Rookie?
popped off a little bit.
Says he had 2.
Yeah.
And then JOK had 2, and then it just kind of goes down the list. But I'm excited that we keep getting these cornerbacks too. You know,
That kid looks good. That Cameron Mitchell kid, he looked exciting last night.
The chat thinks that there's a good that Forrestal is in a battle with Bryant for that third spot. Do you think there's any chance, any world in which we would cut Harrison Bryant?
Literally, a guy I was talking to at the game last night, one of my friends he brought it up. He's like, I think he's legitimately in danger of losing the roster spot. And I was like, man.
Forrestal did look good.
Yeah. Even the other kid, what's the other guy's name? He's got a super long name. I want to say he's like the 4th or 5th tight end.
Mitchell Payton.
Yeah. He had a really, really nice
Zaire
catch.
Mitchell Payton.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this front office has shown a hesitancy to cutting guys they drafted, and Harrison Bryant won the award for best tight end in college football 3 years ago, and we're about to go to a more wide open offense. It's hard to imagine where they would cut him.
And the thing is with tight ends, I mean, I know we're talking about these guys making catches in preseason games, but there's so much more to tight end. Like, how are they
blocking?
Can they block? Like, how are they being utilized? What's their role in the offense? Because I feel like Jordan Akins was brought in to kind of fill in a pass catching role whenever they need Njoku to block because he's good at it.
Yeah. And Watson recruited him. And there's chemistry there between those two.
We talked about this on a past episode. The Browns, when they cut the roster down to 53, they're going to cut good football players.
Yes. Yep.
There are teams around the league who probably aren't as good, at least on paper wise, as the Browns, that are watching the Browns come cut day, because I feel like we're going to cut some guys that aren't going to be free long. They're going to be on another team the next day.
Yep.
Because when you put this much talent, you can only keep 53. Bryant moves like his joints are welded together. The thing is, he said he'd rather risk it on somebody with athletic upside. He's supposed to be very athletic.
Yeah.
That was
the tag on him.
Yeah, he had it. I mean, in college, he was like a great receiving tight end.
And the thing is, he didn't look horrible as a rookie either. Like, he had some plays, he scored some touchdowns. It's just, we talk about the tight end position a lot. That position takes a few years for guys to really get acclimated to the league. And I mean, this is year 4, right, for Bryant, going into year 4?
People wanted to run Njoku out of here.
Yeah, that's true. And look at him now.
I think Njoku's going to have a very good season.
That's a perfect example of how it does take, especially like these athletic, playmaking tight ends. It takes them a while to really get going because he's in year 6, something.
He's
5,
getting up there
6.
now. I know we're talking about last night's game, and we're at the hour, which we're going to keep it an hour. Let's go about 5 or 10 more minutes here.
Okay.
And because I'm sure a lot of these people in the chat, we've talked a lot about the game. Let's talk about this Johnny documentary.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Have you watched it?
I didn't watch it yet.
I have
watched
not
it
watched
twice.
it yet.
What are you guys doing?
Are we waiting?
I've heard
No,
enough
we're
about it.
talking
Let's
though.
do
Go
it.
ahead.
No, let's talk.
dive in.
I didn't watch it, but I will. It's on
It's
my list.
fantastic.
So, chat, have you guys watched this Johnny documentary? So I watched this. So first of all, there wasn't a bigger Johnny football fan. Like, I freaking loved that guy when he was in college. I hated Alabama, and he went into Alabama and beat him.
Yep.
I freaking loved Johnny football. And when the Browns, he was the first jersey I ever bought. The only other jersey I ever bought was a throwback Jim Brown jersey. I still haven't bought another jersey. He's like one of my favorite college players ever. I loved everything about him.
Yeah.
But it almost made me feel bad for the guy.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Justin's not too sure.
You know what? So there's going to be people that haven't watched this yet. And I talked about it with a couple of people. There were like, the first couple moments of it, he's talking about all the things like mentally that he went through and like all of the, like, he's relying on drugs and stuff like that. And then they flash to the present and he's in his backyard just hanging out with his boys, still doing the same shit, it felt like. And I was like, oh, man. But it's a crazy, crazy doc. I know what you're saying because you can tell that mentally he was dealing with other things.
He said he's been diagnosed as bipolar
Yeah.
now. Okay, so that definitely
doesn't help.
But here's the thing is, one, I to this day, obviously he has issues. I think he's 10 years too early. If he played in college today, he'd be a millionaire. in college.
Yep.
He was having to sell autographs for $30,000.
He was a millionaire in college anyway.
He was selling autographs for 30. No, I mean, think about it. He said he was selling his autographs for $30,000 a month, and he did it for a bunch of months in a row. So he'd have, I mean, even after 4 months, he's only made $120,000. If he played today, this dude would have had $1 million NIL deals.
Oh, for sure. Easy.
It's true.
Okay. So the dude, and if you look at it, I thought Cliff Kingsbury came off super bad.
Yeah, he kind of just
Like,
let him. He knew that there was issues, and they just let him. Still
All
do his
these
thing.
people knew he was having issues, and they were making money off of him and looking good off of him, and they just rode him, and it didn't. And they all went off to their promising careers and let him just crash and burn.
And they knew the direction it was going.
Yes,
because they all admitted they're like, we knew he was that kind of guy. We weren't about to. That was his thing. We knew what he was doing the night before, and it never affected him in the game, and we looked good coming out of it.
I thought Cliff Kingsbury seemed like very not like a good dude in that to me. That was the impression I got.
It's kind of the impression I've always gotten about him.
He clearly needed help, and there was no help to be given to him.
Yeah.
Okay. I also think obviously the drugs are an issue and the partying was an issue, but I also think that if he gets drafted in today's NFL, he would have been way more likely to be successful. The NFL game has changed so much compared to when he came in. It was still like a pro style offense under center. I mean, if Kyler Murray can play in the NFL today, Johnny Football could have played in the NFL today. You know what I mean? So I just think he's 10 years too early. He's literally ahead of his time. Clearly, and then obviously you can only try to help the guy so much. At some point, he's got to try to help
yourself.
himself.
Yep.
But also at the same time, like you rode him into that position. Do what, get the guy some help.
Well, and
he's clear. We find out he's bipolar.
Yeah.
We find out, these people Texas A&M literally built a new stadium because of the guy.
Yeah.
They were making millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. Adidas couldn't keep the number 2 Texas A&M jersey in stock.
Yep.
And he saw not a penny of it.
Yeah.
That is great. Yeah.
I think the NIL thing is awesome. I've been in support of that.
I think they need to regulate it somehow because it's getting away. People should be allowed to make money off their name, image, and likeness. It's not supposed to be used as
a recruiting
tool.
Yeah. Which
Ohio State can just get their donors to put in a huge NIL thing, and they're calling it. No, you're just literally paying
money
for him to come here. That's not what it was designed for.
No, I agree, but there's a lot of people that made their schools a lot of money, and then they didn't get drafted or they got hurt their rookie year and didn't get any money.
Sure.
But they made their school millions, and they never saw anything from it. So I think it's cool that you can make money in college now.
Yeah, but obviously he had some issues and he needed to take some responsibility. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of people failed that dude. Like a lot of people. People that were supposed to be trusted to make sure that he did okay. Mm-hmm. And they didn't care that he was spiraling because they were making money off of him.
I even think that they even almost overprotected him to the point where he was comfortable in everything. He knew that every time he got past an obstacle that should have derailed his career, he was just like, I'm going a little bit further down this road. My favorite part of it is his agents talking about Cleveland's I can't remember if it was their GM or who it was, and they called and they're like, he's watched 0.00 hours of tape on his iPad. Like, what? And the agent's like, my God. He's like, he's got to at least have something. He's turned the thing on. And they flashed to Johnny, and he's just like, 0. I didn't. It's wild. It is absolutely wild. The whole thing's nuts.
By that point, he didn't even want to play football anymore. He was just.
You could tell.
He was essentially self-destructing on purpose to get out.
Yep.
So, and I don't think he's it's not a redemption story yet because I think he's still kind of effed up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't think he's back to where he needs to be yet.
Well, and the one thing that you guys now, like I said, I haven't watched it yet, and I really want to. I was planning on it.
Yeah, it's excellent.
But that you guys have talked about, the coaches and the people in his life. Those are very crucial developmental years, especially for a guy who's in that sort of spotlight on that level of athletics in college football. To enable him to be this way and not try to help him, correct him, make him the best version of himself that he can be. It's they did fail him. Well, based on what you guys are telling me here.
Well, and here's the deal too. Let's not forget he won the Heisman as a true freshman.
Yeah.
So this kid's
18,
just
19?
barely 18.
Yeah.
And he can't go anywhere without being mobbed. That Texas A&M should have had like a person for him to like, you know what I mean?
And he said it was his best friend who they were just living in the moment. When you guys watch this and they started explaining like just these two, how they like those 2 years in Texas A&M it's wild. The whole story is crazy to me. And I mean, Texas A&M I feel like they put a little fire on him because they're like, yeah, he was absolutely just doing everything.
Well, the thing is, none of those people are there anymore.
That's fair, yeah.
True.
Clifton, I don't know any of them. They're all out.
Yeah. So, it says Kingsbury didn't care he was hungover for the game because they was in the thick of the SEC
Yeah,
race.
he said it. He's like, he played better when he had no clue what was going on.
Exactly.
He was hungover.
Like it just,
gosh.
if maybe one time they would have punished him, or like, you know what I mean? It could have been different. So I don't know. Again, I'm not absolving him from all responsibility in the situation, but he was a kid. There's a lot of adults around making money off of a kid that just didn't care what happened. They just tossed him to the side.
Yep.
I disagree with everything Dion's saying right now. Dion's a big Texas A&M ran 4 plays with a lot of motion. Mike Evans should have won the Heisman instead of Johnny. I disagree. Go watch him play. He was electric.
I mean, those two were very good together.
Goes Mike Evans on the team the year before Johnny played?
No, he played. I thought he played with him.
Yeah, I know he did.
Yeah.
But was he there?
Where was he the year before?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember the whole timeline with those guys.
Yeah.
So, well, we said we were going to keep this at an hour, and we were going to talk about yesterday's game, but I wanted to talk about the doc because
No, it was fun. I'm glad we did.
you guys got to watch it. So I know we're gonna end this thing now. We got all these people watching. We got to let you guys go. It's Saturday. I have to go home and I don't have to
Saturday,
eat,
isn't it?
apparently, obviously, but I want to eat.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap this thing up. We appreciate you guys spending your Saturday evening with us.
Yeah, I love you guys.
Yep. Interrupting your dinner, jumping on with us right in the middle of a Saturday evening. We appreciate you guys being here.
Oh, here come the bots.
Oh, man. Again, go Browns. I think it's been a really good preseason so far. It'll be interesting to see what happens this week with the joint practices with the Eagles. Can't wait for next week's game. Let us know what you guys think in the comments once we post this as a video of, let us know what you thought of the Johnny doc, and then just overall, who are some standouts for you from the preseason so far? Who are you guys high on? Who are you guys low on? Just let us know your thoughts. Again, if you want to play fantasy football with us, jointhedawgs.com. So you can jump in a fantasy league. There's a few spots open, so don't wait. Make sure you get in there so you guys can play fantasy football with us. And if you want to get your voicemails on the show, join thedawgspodcast.com. Just tap leave voicemail in the drop down menu. Once again, thank you guys for being here, and until we see you guys sometime this week, have a good week.
And go Browns.
Go Browns.